Welcome everyone to our conversation today. We are actually here live from Kuala Lumpur, the Vallette Gallery, and we are live with Neda Tavallaee, live from our place near Tehran. And I'm really excited to be with you, especially during your solo exhibition that we have here at the gallery. It was actually it's a digital solo exhibition. Neda, are you with us? Neda, are you with us?
I'm here.
All right. Okay, great. Please give me some sign because I'm talking, and because I think we lost you and then you come back, right?
Yes, because of the internet.
Right. Okay. All right. So the exhibition today, it's called the Peculiar Box or Andaruni. And we're really, since we start to work with you, actually, really happy to collaborate with you. And well, in this period, it is also an opportunity for the public from all around the world to look at your work and to understand better. So this is one of the reasons I wanted to invite you today, just to ask you very few questions, so then the public can understand better your approach and the way you are looking at life as an artist today. So Neda, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very well. So can you tell us right now, where are you? Where do you live? And how is life?
Well, I live outside of Tehran. I live in the Alborz province. I live in a garden in a village called Abbasabad. It's in the Sohalia section of Alborz. And I live with my husband and my dogs. I've got 3 canaries. Yeah, so I live with my husband and my animals, and I have a studio here, so I work here. So basically, I live outside the city.
Okay, very well. So it's certainly very green, beautiful. So I have a question regarding especially when you were living in England, because you've been raised, you grew up in England, in London, more specifically. And I've been reading then at the age 6, one of your teacher told your parents then you had some talent and you could be an artist. And from that day, I think you had some discussion, of course, with your parents. I mean, from your teacher, and then you wanted certainly to be an artist, and then your parents was not very keen. Can we go back to this time, because it's so interesting, and I'd like to know. Do you remember when you were 6, 7 years old, that moment? And for you in that time, it was really obvious that you wanted to be an artist, and you were an artist, and you wanted to be a painter, or how it was, and what do you remember from that time as a child?
Actually, I have a very vivid memory, so I can remember from the time that I was 1 year old. So, so I remember, yeah, I have a very good memory. When I started school a bit earlier, because they took this IQ test, and they said that I was smart enough to attend school at a younger age. So when I was 6, we had a painting competition. We had to draw portraits, and I went to a private school at the time. So my teacher liked my work and showed it to everybody, and then they called my parents to come to school, and they showed them my paintings, and they said that she's an artist, she's a painter. So from that age, I knew that I wanted to be a painter, and later on, after the revolution, when we came back to Iran, still I wanted to be a painter. And at summertime, my father would always put us in different classes, swimming, English, but he would also put me in painting class as well. But they wouldn't allow me to consider it as a subject for my education. because they wanted me to study something like become an engineer or a doctor or become a university professor. So that they didn't want me to be an artist. So I had to, I went to drawing classes for many years, and then it was time to enter university. I took the university exam because, again, my father wouldn't allow me to enter art university. So I was accepted for physics. So I studied physics for 2 years, and then I really just couldn't take it anymore because I was very unhappy. And I was also going to art classes with Mr. Ghulam Hussein Nami, and he also told me that he wanted to speak to my father. So my father went and spoke to Mr. Nami, and Mr. Nami said that if she does anything but paint, she's going to be betraying herself. So I quit physics, and I took the university exam one more time. This time I got accepted into art school, and then, you know, professionally I started working. But before that, I wanted to paint since I was 6, but my parents actually wouldn't allow it.
Right. So you mean that you really didn't, you wanted to draw in your life, and you couldn't? They didn't let you even draw or paint?
No, I was allowed to draw and paint because I went to painting classes,
Right.
but I wasn't allowed to study it as a subject in university.
Right. Got it. That's interesting because I mean, it's interesting when we look at it. You grew up in England, in London, until the age of 10.
10 years.
10, and then
Yes.
You live in Iran.
Yeah.
Since you were always in Iran.
Well, not always in Iran because I've been living in different places. I lived in the Emirates for 2 years. I lived for some months in Australia. Then I've been attending artist residencies all around the world. So everywhere that I've been, South Africa, India, Norway, Turkey, places like these that I've been traveling to, I've been studying, I've been staying there for a couple of months every time.
All
So
right.
I've been based in Iran.
Okay.
But I've been based in Iran.
Right. Okay. So, but you didn't come to Malaysia yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Very well.
Inshallah in the future.
Right. Okay. So, working across different medium, because you're already an artist. You are someone who doesn't look specifically on just one medium, even though I think you are definitely your dominant in your art is painting. If I'm not wrong, but at the same time, I think you inspire yourself, you get inspired from other medium than you've been practicing, like music. Can you tell us more about how do you inspire yourself, and what medium are you working with, a part of your main focus?
I think that for me as an artist, I mean, painting and singing and writing poetry, they're not different things. All of them are the same thing, and they're saying the same things, but sometimes I feel like I have to express myself in words specifically, and sometimes a melody comes to my head and I turn it into a song and sing. So it's not something that happens very consciously. It just happens. So, but the thing is that with painting, because I've been doing it longer and more professionally, it comes easier to me with less pain. But when I'm writing poetry or maybe composing a song or a melody, it drains me emotionally because it's relatively, you know, it's newer to me. But there's the same thing. Like some people have told me that you paint the way that you write or you paint the way that you sing. So I don't think that they're different. The thing is that I come from a very artistic family. Even though they're all very academic, you know, they're all, you know, doctors or university professors and blah, blah, stuff like that. But actually, especially from my mother's side, all of them were artists. Like my uncles were painters, my own mother writes poetry, my father writes poetry. They all have very good singing voices. But because the way that our society thinks about artists, not today, today it's better than before. But like before now, they didn't have, they thought that you couldn't support yourself financially as an artist. Or especially if you're a woman, it meant that you were maybe sexually more free, or you couldn't be controlled. So even though my parents and their families are very artistic, none of them pursued an artistic career, never. All of them did other stuff. So actually me, myself, and my sister, because my sister also sings, she has a very good voice. Me and my sister and my brother, maybe because he's a photographer, we are probably the first generation of people in our family who are doing this professionally.
Right.
So
So it's like you are that generation um, who didn't obviously give up. It doesn't say then your parents in the old generation give up. I think maybe in some stage, if you cannot express yourself, you kind of give up in a way, you know.
of
Maybe
course,
you keep dreaming, maybe you keep working at home, but you may not look at it as making a career like you or like many artists in Iran. Because when I was in Iran, I was really amazed. I don't know if it's the right word. In that kind of period of life, in that kind of period in the world, in that period, experiencing, meeting people, meeting artists who are producing non-stop every single day was very, not only very refreshing, but it was creating, I mean, it giving a lot of hope. And it shows then art and culture, and especially fine art, has a place for expression. Talking about this, obviously you are an artist who use art to express your emotion, your view, your narrative. And as you said, you are also a writer. You write poem. Actually, I love your poem. I love your music. But to you, can you tell us when did you really start to think then you could bring your voice through your art to interrogate, to open conversation, and to also share, obviously, subject matter, like we find in your narrative a lot of point like against, not against, but for the right of women, for the right of children, and also for a certain repression than you've been experiencing, certainly you and millions of people. And this is also what we're facing around the world in many countries, not only in Iran, as you know, of course. But let's put it in that circumstances and your life. What makes the difference? Do you think what you're doing or what you did before and what you're doing today had an impact in society? And how do you cope by working, living in a country who has less uh, freedom of speech, freedom of expression than many other countries around the world?
well, it's very hard. It's very hard, especially when you've been to other places in the world and you see that things that you want, very simple things, are denied. So as a woman, it's even harder for me. I don't know if I've had any impact on anybody, because for me, the thing that I do is I work, I mean, everything that I write about or I paint or I sing about is about my personal experience in life, because this is the most honest thing that I can speak about. Maybe if I say something in general, somebody will say, "No, this isn't true. It was different for me. This that makes you unhappy. It makes me very happy." So I can relate to myself. That is the most honest approach that I can have. But it's hard for everybody here, I think, not just for women. I think to be honest and work and be able to support yourself financially, it's very hard in a country because we don't have any kind of support. So when you don't have any kind of support, it makes it very hard to keep on working as an artist, and also when you're addressing social issues. it might be very easier to paint, I don't know, flowers that look exactly like flowers. Something that everybody understands, have a more photographic approach to painting, realistic paintings. This is something that everybody will understand, and if done correctly, it's very beautiful, very appealing, it has its own market. But when you step aside and move into the more contemporary side of art, and you want to create your own symbols, you want to speak very personally, you want to say this is wrong, this is right, then everywhere in the world you lose a part of the market. Then gallerists and curators and art dealers are the people that can help you find your own market. But then they don't want, over here, what I feel is that, for me, I don't know, I'm just saying for me, not for everybody else, it's hard for people here to gamble on this kind of art. Because they say we don't understand it, people might get offended and things like this. But it's never been easy. It's never been. I don't think it's easy for any artist anywhere. If you want to live as a painter, especially, just look at art history. How many of them have been living with a lot of money? Not everybody can be like Picasso or Dali. These people were very talented, but also very lucky when they were working, because they had their market. They were the superstars, like Andy Warhol. But for the artists in general all around the world, it's a struggle. For people in Iran, if you're a person living in Iran, the struggle is harder. If you're a woman, you can double that as well. So it's not easy, but yeah. But I always say to people who want
So
to paint, especially.
so you're trying to say that, and anyway, at the end of the day, art and culture, books, music, um, give you more heart and give you more strength. And I guess also for many people in Iran, if we talk about Iran, and of course around the world, but especially in Iran, because in a country where you have no structural, the society is so different. You have no banking system. I mean, you have a banking system, but it's only national and local. It's very difficult because there's no support whatsoever. Everything is blocked with the outsider, more or less with the rest of the world. And it's definitely not your fault, and it's definitely not the fault of most of the people who live in Iran. But here we talk about art and culture. Are you saying then the market sometimes you think then is a bit too politically correct and too much focus on what is the most commercial? Do you think that, or do you think is you do have still gallery and professionals who doesn't really care about that, and they focus on the stories and the technique and of course the creativity? What do you think about it?
I think we have in our own community, we have a market that thrives. We've got many galleries and they work professionally. And also we have our own traditional kind of art. So, calligraphy, miniatures, even in the music section. I think that when you're an Iranian, you are political, even if you don't think you are, because politics is very much in our lives. So it's not something that somebody say, no, I'm not political. When you can't sell your work, or if you're selling it to a certain group, even when you wake up in the morning, when you listen to the news, your mind is put in a political, situation. But I think that because we don't have interaction with other places of the world, this affects our market. Because we don't have art education. We have our own art education, but it's not very contemporary, except for the people who are really interested in art history, or the people who have been buying art in their families for generation. It's not like living in New York when you go, to Times Square and then you walk that road and it's all billboards and color. People in a lot of country are they're in contact with art 24/7. With contemporary art that all of the world knows. It's not like that for here. Of course, nowadays maybe it's better because of the internet. People and can look and learn if they want to. But I think the taste of art, the taste is different here for art.
I
People
understand.
usually, yeah, they usually buy art to for decoration in their homes, or if they're collectors, you know, if then the collectors, well, they buy a specific part of the market. But the people who are you know, uh, young or are not yet very famous, I think it's a very hard, it's hard to survive.
Right.
That is what I think.
So that is one of the things that you were writing in your text, or this beautiful text that you've been writing for the peculiar box. You, in a way, you living in a box. You talk about it in your text, and I understand that, because it is very much limited. It's not about where you live. It's not about with who you live. It's not about if you have, of course, enough food, enough things to have for everyday life, of course. But talking about when you wake up, and what you are doing during the day, and when you listen the news, or you listen the news from the society, from the society where you live, and then you talk with your friends around. Do you really feel that everybody right now not only feel living in a box, but um, do you think that you still have hope? You still have hope, like you always have hope. Do you do you think now is like the new generation is like giving up a little bit and try to focus more on what they have to do every day and how to survive, because politics maybe it doesn't take you anywhere, and it doesn't take you anywhere in Iran for now anyway, and especially if you're an artist, and especially if you're a woman, or if you're a single mother, for instance. So I like to touch this through the exhibition that we have today. And by the way, for everyone who are listening to us today, please share the exhibition on www.vallettegallery.com. This exhibition is about women, right? And we've been talking also about something that I didn't know before. I heard about it, I think, in the history of Turkey and the Ottoman Empire. But can you tell us more about this connection between the Andaruni, then you are talking about this peculiar box, and the box as well? Then we sometimes feel, maybe you, maybe me as well. And by the way, maybe me as well, feeling as in a box because I can't travel anymore right now. Not in Iran, but I'm in Malaysia. I can't travel. So sometime in our life, we do feel like a box. And this is when situations are maybe harder than before, but it's also maybe sometimes a situation to rethink, to reimagine, to maybe re-strategize or refocus what we're doing in life for the future. So what do you think about this particular box? Do you think it's the end of it, or it could be the beginning of something with more than hope? Yeah, can you tell us more about it? Neda? Oh, Neda is not here with us. Well, she will be coming back. Thank you very much. By the way, thank you very much to be online today, live from Kuala Lumpur, in live with Neda Tavallaee from Tehran. We're having a conversation with the artist, and we're talking about the peculiar box, Andaruni. This is the title of her exhibition, who is on www.vallettegallery.com. Beautiful work from Neda Tavallaee, where she is. Come back to us, please, Neda. So we're just waiting a few minutes, and then we will hear from her again. Neda, please come back. So I was telling you about the gallery. Just the time that she. Okay, 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 she's coming. Report. I know. I know. Where are you, Neda? Do you have to click, please? Please, please, please. You have to ask for joining. You have to join. Add me. Well, I can't. Right? She has to click to join. Yeah. Right? We can also send an invitation. Right. Okay, she's coming. She's coming soon. So I was telling you about the gallery, Vallette Gallery. Yeah, since the lockdown, we've been rethinking the entire way of programming, and also activities. We used to work also on art talk. So that is something. Then it happened to us, and most of us actually, and especially the entrepreneurs, the artists as well. All the artists today need to rethink as well, and it's not easy every day, but we need to be strong, and we need to think about what could be the solution if we need to look for solutions. But the most important is we need to be creative. So this is how we started to think then we should continue to curate and produce exhibition. It took some time to be really, really regular, but now things are really looking better. And today, the Peculiar Box with Neda is on www.vallettegallery.com. Soon we will have another exhibition on the 16th of March with Jose Conceptes from Barcelona. Is an amazing multi-awarded photographer about architecture and urbanization. So now Neda is with us, back with us.
I tried to change the internet connection, but it didn't work. I wanted to change the internet connection, so maybe you could see me, but nothing happened.
Right. Okay. So, did you get the question that I asked you, or do you want me to
No, you asked me if I feel that I'm in a box.
Yes, and you feel in a box, like actually many of us feel like we're in a box, okay? And as an artist, as inspiration, creativity, it's something who give you that strength and that motivation to the future, right? Because if you cannot create anymore, what to do, right, as an artist? So, yes, you are fitting in a box, but here, the peculiar box, what this peculiar box is telling us.
Well, I do feel like I'm in a box. Well, actually, I've been stuck in a box since I came to Iran and I was 10. But the strange thing is that however hard I tried, I can never get away from this box, so even if I travel, live in other places, somehow I just come back to Iran. But I think that mentally, for me and a lot of people, it's changed now. So maybe before, like you were saying, do you have hope for change? I can only speak for myself, but no, I don't have any hope for change anymore. I used to have it a bit, but no longer. So sometimes I really feel that I'm stuck here, because I feel like the worst thing for any human being is to not have hope. Hope is very, very vital for how you live, how you think, how you want to survive. And when you have no hope, absolutely no hope for the future, you kind of have a nihilistic approach to life. So I think that's what happens to me. And as I said in about Andaruni, many years ago, they used to separate different sections of the house. So the Andaruni was where they kept the women and children so that other men wouldn't see them. And the Biruni was the outside section where other men could come. So women were stuck in the Andaruni. But even though they were there, their hopes didn't die. So you see this generation of women who are more educated than men. They are financially independent, even though it's a very strange society here. Because even though as women we have half the rights as a man. So we don't have rights to divorce, to work, to keep our children. to travel, I don't know, inheritance, everything is half a man or it doesn't exist. But even in this community, you see that the women are more educated than men. They have a great knowledge of the English language. They know computers. They are financially independent. We have a high rate of divorce right now, which I do not think is a bad thing, because everybody that I know that is divorced as a woman is now working. They are not dependent financially on men. So from the Andaruni and from women who were stuck in that dark place, they gave birth to children and they raised women and even men who even, the government mentality is different from the people of Iran. So it's not like the men in Iran are stuck in the Middle Ages. The men in Iran also want women to have equal rights. It's a struggling society. But, you know, individually, I don't know, maybe when people are together, they're stronger. But as an individual, I can speak for myself, it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing to not have freedom of speech, to not have freedom whatsoever. I can't even choose what to wear. But I do not think that we are, backwards moving society. I think the society in itself is moving forward because we have intelligent, educated men and women who want to live better. They want a better life. But as an individual, yes, I feel I'm stuck in the Andaruni. If there is a situation or if there is a chance to leave Iran and be able to work and exhibit every time I go, because I feel like it's a better place, a better platform for me to speak about my situation. Yeah, but yeah,
Very
I
well.
feel that I'm stuck. Yeah.
So you think then right now in this situation, especially in this situation of COVID and all these changes around the world, do you believe then art and culture is more and more important in our everyday life, and is more and more important about how to actually rethink the society and how to get culture and art more involved actually on the changes than we are looking now in this world. A part of the environment, because everything is about environment, and it's fine. And I believe is we are so late, but anyway, it's better than late than not. But art and culture, I believe, then more keys to society to help also this new generation maybe to understand better and to be in a more peaceful environment. What do you think about it?
I think that art is never separated from the community and the youth and the hopes and what is happening. I think that art is very interconnected to what is going on in the country. I don't know how it can really help us at the moment, because people work what they think, but if it's political, then it won't get a platform. So sometimes when you want to speak about things that are most important to you, again, I'm speaking for myself. Maybe somebody doesn't care, or maybe somebody is having other things. But for instance, for me as a woman, things that inspire me and things that are important for me, I can work as an artist, but I don't know if it will make a change at the moment. I think the most important thing is that to speak about what is happening now, in the now. Maybe some people won't like it, maybe it won't be seen now, but this is my story. Nobody can say your story or your life is wrong or right. This is something very personal to me. I've decided to speak about it and to share it. But if it's going to make a change, it depends on how much of, how much publicity it gets.
Right.
It depends on who sees it. I don't think that if I touch one person or if I make one person think it will make a difference. No, I think that lots of people must do this. It's like throwing a stone into a pond and it makes ripples. So, in order to be seen and in order to make a change, these ripples must, always happen. Just one ripple will not make a change. I think it's important to work and to speak and be honest. I don't know if it's going to make a change. It makes a change for me.
Very good. Very well.
It makes
So
Yeah,
what do you if you were now talking to a young adult a young woman who want to be an artist, and
yeah.
what will be your advice to her um, to, um, to become an artist professionally, to live with your art, and yeah, what you will advise her?
I'd advise her to leave Iran.
To what?
To leave Iran.
To leave Iran.
Yeah, to leave. I would, if it was a young girl, I would advise her to study English or, I don't know, Italian, French,
Right.
German, anything that, the countries that she can go to. And while she's in Iran, we have a lot of good painters who teach, go to these private classes, read art history, get to know what you can from inside Iran, and then save your money and go get an education outside of Iran
Yeah.
and find a voice over there, because here she will have no support. The honest truth is that in order to paint, you will have to be able to pay for your expenses.
And
You
what do
know,
you
you
and so in general, globally, like now you talk to a young adult, a woman adult in Tehran, and what do you tell a young girl here in Malaysia, or a young girl in England right now? She's sure she really want to be an artist. She's talented, but she's not feeling very secure right now in her life. She's not very confident, and like many young people today, and of course, like everywhere, people will may tell her, send her some sign, then art, I mean, becoming an artist, especially now, it's not really the best decision. So what you will tell her, to be stronger and to success in her life as an artist?
I remember I used to go to Mr. Ahmad Vakili. He's a famous painter. I used to go to his classes, and he would tell us that if when you wake in the morning and during the day and when you go to sleep, if you're thinking about painting, this means you're a painter. If you're not thinking about it, you're not. So first of all, if that person is thinking constantly about art, first of all, you must be honest with yourself, because this isn't an easy game. It's not like you go to the university and study for 4, 6 years and then you're an engineer. This is not art, becoming an artist. To be an artist, you have to work every day, and you have to work till the rest of your life. Like if you stop working, then you were not an artist. It till the day that you're living, you have to work, and still and do not do it to be famous. Do not do it to be rich. It might never happen. Lots of people may never know you. It's a more spiritual thing. It's a very scary situation. You have to be honest with yourself. And lots of time it's like looking in the mirror. The minute you start lying, the minute you start pretending, it'll show in your work. So the first thing is to, first of all, be sure that you're an artist. If you're an artist, know that you have to work till the end of your life. Know that you might not become famous. Know that you might not become rich. It's more than that. The joy of creating something and being an artist is something that only an artist knows. That is why you keep on going with all the struggles, and also you have to know that for me, the thing that happened was a lot of people that didn't understand me in the beginning, right now they're cheering me on. A lot of people that will say, we don't like your work, are buying my work now. This is your story. You shouldn't care what people say. The key to success as an artist is to work every day. You have to work. This is a full-time job. Every day you have to work, you have to wake up, you have to paint. You don't need expensive things. A piece of paper and a pencil is enough. Just look at all of the great artists in the world. They weren't always doing, huge canvases with oil paints. This happens when they were richer. Like for instance, again, Picasso, when he didn't have money, he would only paint with, white, black, and blue, white, black, and pink. So it's not about always having money. It's a drive that keeps you going. And sometimes, you're successful, people understand you. Sometimes you're going through a dark phase and nobody likes your work. Everybody hates what you're doing. It's not about other people. First of all, it's about you. I don't know, it's kind of meditation. Maybe it's very selfish to say this. It's like you making love to you.
Very well.
I always, yeah.
Neda, this is really. I think everyone heard and everyone listened what you've been sharing with us today. I would love to stay more and having more conversation with you. Maybe we can plan another conversation another day. We're very proud actually, and I'm proud actually, and very happy. Then we could organize and curate this exhibition with your work. I will always remember that day I met you first time in Tehran. Anyway, you know very well, I told you many times that my experience in Tehran with on the artistic scene, meeting all these artists and working with artists have been a real amazing experience for me. And of course, I'd like to continue to work with you, and this is what we're going to do. You know, and what you shared today give us really perspective and more, maybe more ideas, but especially more strength maybe for some of you, maybe more inspiration, maybe more ideas, or just understanding more from the artist point of view, living right now in Tehran. So I wanted to thank you very much. Do you like to add something?
Well, thank you. I mean, I know we've known each other for a couple of years now, and it's been you. And for you, I know it's always been maybe a gamble as well, because you traveled to the other side of the world. You came to the Middle East, and then you started meeting artists and speaking to them and telling them that, like, I have this gallery in Malaysia and we can work together. So for me also, it's been a great opportunity to show my work in another country, and especially a Muslim country that has a moderate approach, you know, that is gentle, that is soft, and to be able to, you know, it's like having, actually for me, it's very interesting to be able to show my work in a place where they share the same religion, and you know, but they have a different kind of approach. Of course, I know Malaysia is connected to everywhere in the world, so it's being connected to the bigger market as well. But for me, it gives me, you know, hope that I'm not, like I always say, for me, I'm like the old woman who has many children, daughters actually, and she marries them off to people in other places of the world. So my work, because of people like you, are in a better place than I am, you know. So because of people like you, people can see me, hear me, be interested in me from the work, you know, because every part of me, whenever I paint a painting, my soul is in that painting. It's my story. So I'd like to thank you very much, because, and I remember, you remember you had that group exhibition and you put my work in the room and it was in front of Juan Miro's print. And I was saying, God, you know, if one day somebody would tell me that your work is going to be in a room with Juan Miro's, I mean, you would say this is a joke, but you made that happen. You know, you put my work alongside with great painters, and they were seen simultaneously at the same time. And I'm very positive for the future. You know,
Very
because
well.
yeah, I'm positive. We should just work and see what happens.
Great.
Yeah, inshallah,
Okay.
good things happen.
So we leave everybody on this very positive note. Beautiful, lot of love, lot of sharing, a lot of hope. So I send you my regard. Thank you so much, Neda. Thank you, everyone, to be with us today, and have a beautiful week, everyone. Okay?
Yeah. Bye
All
bye.
right. Ciao.